Welcome. You have reached the episode 3 of Explain Strange podcast. And tonight's episode, we have, I believe, one of the members of the Ghost Hunting Beauties. They're going to join us, or she's going to join us, and we're going to ask some questions. We're going to see what they're all about and see what they do. I came across these beautiful girls on Facebook, doing some Facebook surfing off and on, trying to see. And I try to get, kind of a lead on some of the other paranormal teams that are bouncing around and whatnot. So I found these girls, and I thought I'd reach out to them and see if they wanted to do a podcast with me. I started reaching out to a few different people just, to see who would be interested in coming into an episode of Explain Strange. And I reached out to a few, and I had I did get some responses. I had another team that's going to come in too. They're not actually a team, but I thought that they might want to be involved in this. And it turns out at this time, not a good time, but that it happens. I'm sure that field that they're into is these are people that are busy in this. They're not just people that just go out on the weekends, like weekend warrior ghost hunters or nothing. These are the guys that really go out and they, go to their own thing. But the one thing that I noticed about the Ghost Hunting Beauties, they have a good setup. If you watch their they have a podcast. Okay, first of all, now I believe now they're going to go into season 2, if I'm not mistaken. But they do have a good podcast. And they do have a YouTube channel, so you might want to find them out. And I'll be putting all the information in here for y'all. That way you can know exactly where to find them. And they're going to come on. One of them, I believe one of them is going to link on. And hopefully she'll be coming on in just a few minutes. I do have a picture that you'll be seeing. And I want to just try to stay to the format as much as I can, because it's going to be hard to stick to the format with these guys, because I've watched what they do, and they get out there and they really do some pretty good locations, serious locations. They don't do these little small mom and pop things or in your back room kind of thing. They go a little further, so it's pretty interesting. You probably haven't heard from them. They are out of Texas. You probably have, and I'm surprised for those who haven't. Now, I know a lot of several ghost teams out there, some from New York, some from up north, some from Oklahoma. And I'm hoping that you guys are all listening in here, because give y'all an idea of how they do it down here on this side of Texas, and versus, in the northern part of Texas, because there's some up north too. And then Oklahoma, and then moving on up. And then I have some people here from, if I remember, it's in Georgia. I'm not sure if it was Atlanta, but I know it's in Georgia. And I'm not throwing names or anything, but let's give them a minute, and then I'll come right back then. They should be clinging in or logging in or chiming in or whatever you want to call it. So just stand by. Okay, it looks like I made it back, and we got Angela Katz from the Ghost Hunting Beauties. So, as I promised that they would be there, and I did say it was only going to be one. So she is here. So I'm going to let her introduce herself and tell you a little bit about what she does. That way you guys would know, because I know that I like I said earlier, I have a lot of people that I know that are ghost hunters that I did meet, and when we were in Ballinger, Texas. And that was fun to meet all you guys. So some of y'all from New York, a lot of Oklahoma, got some Georgia, and I know y'all are all going to watch this. And then you got Texas and North Texas also. So even other parts, I just mentioned the ones that I actually met. But there are others that watch this that contact my Facebook, and thank you for that. So here's Angela from the Ghost Hunting Beauties. Let her show you or tell you exactly who she is and what they do. Go ahead, Angela.
All right, so my name's Angela Kotz. We're with the Ghost Hunting Beauties. You can find us on our streaming channels on YouTube. So what we're about is we started exploring the haunted history, and that's kind of where everything began, was exploring haunted locations, haunted history, and basically what I've noticed with a lot of ghost hunting is we don't have a lot of all-female teams. So I wanted to put together a team with beautiful women who could explore all of the nuances and everything with the paranormal and to take a deep dive into it.
You did a good job with that.
Oh,
The beautiful women.
Thank you. Well, hopefully the exploring is just as good. So we have several of us, and we have season 2 coming out now. So now we have more of us, and we get messages all the time from women who are just inspired, and people who have inspired us. We are just really blessed to be here. We have models who are untrained. We are not professionals, but we team up with professionals, which is Spring Paranormal Investigators. So the female crew from Spring Paranormal Investigators come along with us, and they take us on these adventures, and we all kind of collaborate. We find haunted places, locations, and we are just exploring. And it's really an incredible adventure.
Well, that's great, because I mean, I didn't know who you guys were, and a lot of people know, Slap Recon is where this started, and I have my YouTube channel. What I do there is I go out and I do investigating different things, but not that kind of investigating. I just mean like I'll go do research, recon. I call it recon because I was in the military, so I was a recon specialist.
Very nice.
So I do a recon of a restaurant, I started doing these cosplays and stuff. One of my sons, is into that, and he's in his 30s. He's still into this stuff. So anyway,
very nice.
He got me into it. Told me, Dad, you have to try these things, and I did. And I started meeting some interesting people. Some of the guys back there, pictures you see them. I met those guys from Big Trouble in Little China. Anyway,
very cool.
Yeah, and I've met some other people too. But I've gone out. I went out and met the Ghost Brothers out there in Ballinger, Texas, and then that's where I met a lot of people. So I decided, well, I'm going to get into this a little bit. I've been watching these ghost shows, and I'm a lot older, trust me. I'm antique. So I've been watching a lot of these ghost hunters, from the day, and I'm talking about way back. And so I've always had the interest. I'm not the one that really had the interest in going out doing some of the ghost hunting, because I'm the guy that'll kind of mess that up. So
oh no,
I can't. I'll bring something home, won't even know it, and probably get along with it, have a drink with it or whatever.
Yourself.
Yeah, so all that kind of stuff, and that's where you guys come in, because y'all know more or less what's the dangers in it. Y'all know more or less what's involved in it, and what to do, what not to do, what to say, what not to say. All the things you're not supposed to do and not supposed to say is what I'm going to say. And not being rude. It's just that, sometimes I'm one of those guys like, hey man, where, just pop out with it, and I kind of get in a little trouble doing that sometimes, but right. It's okay. I got by this long. So right. That's why when I reached out and started looking to see if anybody wanted to come on the podcast, because this is a new venture for me. And even though I got a lot of people, hooking up now. They're starting to hook up now. They weren't in the beginning, because the first couple of episodes were kind of like me solo. And like I said, man, who wants to see this old guy talk?
Oh,
and I'm getting ready to shut up. I'm just gonna hit you with a few questions and everything here, just for myself, because I'm curious as to give me a number, or give us a number. How many exactly would you say is in your group?
Let's see. We can start with, we have me. I'm the owner and the founder and the leader. And then we have Jenny. We have Anastasia. We have Isa is new to our team, and Lisa. So we love it. We say Isa, Lisa. Then we have from Spring Paranormal Investigators, we have Amy Lee. She is the leader of Spring Paranormal Investigators. We have Lynette, and then we have Michelle. So I think, let's see, we're up to like quite a few of us now.
Yeah, that's quite a list. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it keeps growing. That's why I say that I have to count in my head and on my fingers here sometimes, because we have some episodes where some girls can't make it. And, we all have very busy lives, have children, marriages, things going on. We're regular people, I promise you. And with Spring Paranormal Investigators, they have cases almost every weekend. They book out 3 months in advance. So we definitely have to work around their schedule as well. So with so many schedules, you may not see all of us on every episode, but that's pretty much our core team right there.
So I'm just curious. Now, I know that's a big team, and I'm sure y'all all don't go out there at one time and try to, do one investigation, or how do y'all do that?
We did it Yorktown. Our latest one, it was a packed house. We even teamed up with MP Paranormal, who they came in to try to learn a few camera techniques and to help out with filming and different things for us, which we were so grateful to have extra hands with extra cameras, because the more people you have, sometimes the better experience you have. And other times, depending on smaller locations, too many people can be too much and overwhelming for the spirits as well.
So the people, let's say, that are in, that come along, or let's just say you and your group, the more people that are in that specific area, is it like I've heard on TV, do they draw more energy from these entities, or how does that work?
We definitely have a talented group, and we do have spirits that tend to pick certain people. Sometimes I feel like the more people you have, the more likely they are to pick a certain person. I'll say that since the girls are very pretty, I mean, spirits, even after, you've gone from a human body to just being a spiritual being, the feelings are still there. So they tend to crush a little bit on some of the girls, I feel. And other times we have, like with Lynette on SPI, children are very drawn to her. So depending on who we have in our group and depending on what spirits are there, they're drawn to different people for different reasons. And for me, I'm a full-blown medium, so a lot of times spirits instantly, it's like glue. They stick to me. They go, oh, you can see and talk to us. They go, hello.
Well, there's already been a couple of things that you've said already that of course I cheated and read all the questions, and I'm kind of like a lot of them are coming up, and that's good. But I'm going to still re-ask them. Okay, we'll go through that later, but I'm still going to go at it because I think they're kind of anxious to get their little questions out or whatever.
Absolutely.
No problem. I told them, I let them know because they were IMing me. I said, no, you ain't going to have a problem with that. I'm sure that we'll be okay. And there wasn't nothing, bad or anything like that. So my question, here's a question from a slap. What, I'm slap, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to make sure we all know that.
Right.
Yeah, because a lot of people confuse me. I am Slap Recon. Everybody calls me Slap. And whenever Dalen sees me or he sees my name pop up, Dalen from the Ghost Brothers, I don't know if you're familiar with him. I'm sure you are. But when he sees my thing and he sees that I'm watching his live, he goes, Slap! He's all right away. In fact, when he saw me in Boundary, he's like, Slap, man, what's up, man? He really gets excited, I don't know. I just bring the energy out in him, I guess.
There you go.
So my question would be, I'm just curious, like, what would be your go-to tool to use? Your electronic or whatever. What do you use? Because I know people use different things, dowsing rods. They use some of the, I don't know, REM pods and stuff. But what is your go-to?
Now, my go-to is something that's going to be very simple. They are the cat balls. And these are basically the balls that you see that will light up if anything touches or moves them. Now, I like it because it's very simple and it's not something that can be easily manipulated. We try to debunk and make sure, like, if we bump them, we know it's us, but we try to put them at a very far distance to where there's not a breeze, there's not anything that's, going past them. We want to make sure that nothing is interfering so that when they do go off, that we know that it's spiritual energy being used. So cat balls have always been my favorite. I mean, who doesn't want to see something in pitch dark down the hallway lighting up and something is there and you can't see it? I mean, that's really kind of neat because spirit, you see the spirits, a lot of times people can't see them. So for viewers on our show, we want to be able to have a visual representation because as a medium, I can't explain fully that, oh, I see someone walking there, because someone who doesn't have those gifts won't see them. And anyone can say, oh, I see something. So everyone will see when the cat balls light up. So that's just definitely one of my favorites. Plus, it's fun.
Okay, so you've mentioned gift a few times, and my curiosity on that would be what makes you know at first, in the beginning, what is the first sign that you have that I think I have, or I might have? What would you say, like, for this young little child, or, maybe not even a child, maybe you don't find out till you're older, I don't know, and you're a teenager or whatever, but maybe I don't find out till I'm this age, because sometimes I notice some things, and I'm like, I don't think I was supposed to see that, kind of a deal. So what would you say is a sign to look out for, that lets you know that, that you may be gifted?
Right. Well, for me personally, I was very, very, very young. So I was probably 3 or 4 years old when I started to see spirits. Spirits would communicate with me. I mean, even to the point that my mother did have me evaluated psychologically to make sure and rule out anything. So that's why a lot of people who hear or see things, they're kind of scared to mention it to anyone, because you do have to rule out mental illness, brain tumors, different things that are happening to you. But those are initial signs of starting, auditory, hearing things, visual, seeing things. And a lot of times dreams are a good way for people that I hear all the time go, I'm not gifted. And I go, did you ever have a dream that came true? And they go, oh, wait a minute. I had a dream. And then the next day that happened. So a lot of people have gifts and they're unaware. But seeing things in your dreams, having visions, like I said, auditory and visual are certain clues to start cluing in of that you may have a certain gift.
So that kind of should give you a sign that, maybe that I am, or if it just, you have to, like, let a little time go by to see if it happens continuously, or what do you think?
Right. It's definitely let the time pass. I say doing a lot of meditation if you're older, or even if you're a teenager, a young teen, it's still good to meditate. If you start thinking you have these gifts, that way you can start tuning it in. It's kind of like what I say is that we're all turning a little dial on a radio, and then you start to hear something and then you stop. And then you tune it back. So to do that spiritually, you have to start practicing with that to learn how to tune, because otherwise we're all just turning this dial. So I feel like a lot of people, that we all have natural gifts before we had electronics, before we had a lot of things interfering in our world, just like with the Native Americans, could sense things and they would commune with their ancestors. And there was a lot of rituals. If you look in every culture, we all communicated with the dead at some point. So all of us had these natural gifts and abilities. I think we've just kind of forgotten them along the way. And it's hard to tune into a spirit if your phone's going off every 5 seconds and you're like me with my watch, checking my watch or doing things. We're so distracted. How are we able to even hear spirits anymore? So it takes meditation and a lot of fine tuning that gift.
That kind of sparks a memory, that flashback, if you want.
Oh, wow.
If you can say, and the reason I'm saying that, and it's not so much paranormal or that, I was told the exact same thing, but on a whole different subject, but it was the exact same thing you just said. Mm-hmm. When I was younger, I was in music. And I used to be a musician also, but I was in music, and this is back, I think it was we called it junior high back then, so I think it's middle school now, but
right.
And when I first started to get into it, I wanted to play like the trumpet, I think it was. Mm-hmm. And so I chose that. Well, I was so excited about doing that when I got up on the trumpet and tried to do what I was going to do, the band instructor, or the teacher, Mr. Turner, mm-hmm. never forget him, God rest his soul, and he pulled me aside and said, "You just don't have the lip for it, son." And I was like, what? I was so hurt, and I was like, yeah, and I couldn't believe it. But that man just held on to my confidence. He said, "But let me tell you something, don't worry about that." He said, "Because did you know there is an instrument for everybody?"
Oh.
He said, everybody, there's an instrument. They just got to find that instrument. If they really want to play music, because music is in everybody. There ain't nobody that you ain't ever seen that doesn't have music in them. They just don't know. They don't know it.
True.
So he put me on another instrument, and I'm not going to say which one, but I played several after that. I really got into it after that. I just broke loose, but I did find it, and I was glad that I was told that. So it kind of reminds me of what you just said.
Absolutely.
So
an instrument for everyone.
Yeah. So, and a gift. I mean,
very much
actually a gift for everybody. What regardless of how it is or what type of gift it is, I guess you just got to find it. Oh, and one note, you hear that, Melanie? Because I know you. Yeah, I know. Melanie out in New York. I'm talking to her. She knows.
Hi, Melanie.
She knows why I'm telling her this, and I bet she's going to have a big old smile on her face. Look at her, knowing why I'm saying that. She knows why I'm saying that. So we're talking about gifted. So, hey, I went on and started looking at your podcast and the ones you had, and I decided to go through a couple of them, and I did notice y'all are going to go, and you mentioned this earlier, and I just want to get into it just a little bit more because it's more like, let's tell people, unless it's a secret and you don't want to say nothing yet, that's fine. But
go right ahead.
Yeah, going into the season 2, what is in store? What? Tell me, do you have already got your plans, or you're in the planning stages now?
Oh no, we're already filming. We started planning last year. It takes a long time to start planning a show. That we tried winging a lot of things on season 1, and it shows. So we had it's one of those that we didn't know what we didn't know, because filming for a potential TV show or a streaming show, it takes a crew of, generally, if you look at Ghost Hunters, you'll see 60 to 100 people that take to edit, film, casting, all these things. We had my husband filming and doing a lot of everything. So that's one person trying to edit, one person trying to film. So luckily along the way, we had amazing friends who jumped in and said, here, let me hold a camera. Let me hold a boom mic. Let me do these things.
You're hired.
So season 2, we started planning far in advance. And after we released season 1, people actually started sending us locations and inviting us. We've been so grateful for that, because if anyone knows anything about ghost hunting, is it can get expensive very fast. And like I said, cat balls don't cost very much. EMF meters are fairly inexpensive. But once you start traveling, and once you start, the cost of locations at times, it adds up. So for season 2, we've got Yorktown is going to be one of our big season finales, because that was the biggest and very scary location, without giving anything away, that some of us are still dealing with remnants of that location. Like it can stay with you. So
yeah, I've heard a lot about that place. So
definitely. So that we are going to be staying overnight in a funeral home, which is going to be epic. So that's one of the things, is me staying in haunted places. I had to get over that really fast. It's like, you're not going to have much of a show if you don't stay in a haunted place. So we actually started filming, and then we actually will sleep and stay in that location. So even past when cameras are running, things are happening constantly.
Man, I tell you, I don't know about that last one there. That would be one that I would probably call in sick or something like that, because
we're excited. I'm to the point that we're excited. It used to be I was terrified. I think with season 1, the haunted jail was terrifying to me, and now I could go there every other weekend. I just love it.
The Travel Channel is where a lot of the people that I'm hooked up with, that they watch most of the stuff over there, and I'm into a lot of different groups or whatever you want to call it on Facebook, and I'm sure they're all going to be watching right here. So
I hope so.
Yeah, they will. And I just want to let y'all know that everybody, since the Travel Channel did what they did, and there's all them rumors, I'm not going to bring none of that up. I tried to stop all that. We were in Ballinger, as y'all remember. I was the one that yelled out loud, don't say it, and all that. Y'all remember. Okay, but this gives you an idea that, on YouTube, this is another avenue that you can go to watch some good ghost hunting. Oh, yeah. Because I know that we're all into it for the same reason. So
for sure,
try watching these girls out, checking them out and look at their past stuff to try to catch up on a little bit of it now.
Oh, yeah.
That way y'all can get involved.
Only getting better.
Yeah, and these. I mean, we got people that are just striving to get more. They want more. Like, man, Travel Channel ain't really throwing out as much anymore. I mean, it's kind of like gone to a
Right.
desert. So
Mhm.
I know that they can watch y'all's and then start following you guys, and that way, I mean, I know there's an interest period.
For
So
sure.
that's why it was important to me to try to get you on here to try to introduce you
Well,
to some
thank
of these
you.
people, and I know that they're going to follow and get watch your shows, because I'm gonna be in it. I mean, I'm not in it because I ain't going out
I was
there.
gonna say, wait a minute.
I'm gonna be into watching. So y'all don't start.
We'll
Y'all
get
tried
you a
that. Y'all
wig,
tried that
little
already,
dress.
right? Yeah. I don't think I look good. I don't think I could fake it. So, but yeah, and
Makeup, you'll be good to go.
right. Yeah, I don't think so. I'm just thinking of that, and I'm like, oh my god. Oh.
Oh
You
yes,
know,
ghost hunting in heels is a challenge.
Yeah, not going to happen. Not on this end. Other thing, curiosity. If let's say somebody wanted to, because this field kind of goes up and down in a way from what I've noticed. Okay, because I'm not in it. I'm just saying. I mean, understand. I'm not really that much into it, or wasn't. I'm getting into it now, but not as a
Right.
hunter. I just want to investigate and do a little recon off and on and see what it's all about. I'm interested.
Very nice.
I'm just curious. Okay, so we'll leave
There
it
you
at
go.
that, and then stay where everybody stay there. I mean, ghost wise,
Right.
I'm just curious.
I'll keep them
So
over here.
there you go. Keep them now. You guard me. And what? Let's say somebody, and I'm not talking about a little kid wanting to play. I'm talking about somebody seriously now saying that they want to start out trying to ghost hunt. They want to get out there, and they want to, I don't know, go to a cemetery at night, or
Right.
do a voice box, or I don't know, anything. You tell me what you think, or tell them what you think they should do to get started.
100%. I usually say step one is to go with a haunted tour. And the reason I say this is because you can learn some history, you can have some experiences, just like with Spring, they have the ghost tour there, the Old Town Spring Ghost Walk. And just from that ghost walk alone, from all the people I've recommended to send them there, they already have paranormal evidence with pictures, videos, and experiences just going on a ghost tour. So that's step one, because it's not easy to just go out there and do it, because then you don't know what you're doing. You're not protected. You're not safe. I say that step one is ghost tours. Step two, I say don't try it in your home. I know a lot of people, they start filming and they do it in their homes. You don't want to open something that you can't close, that you're not familiar with. I say do your research. Start off with something simple like cat balls with EMF meters, can be very inexpensive on Amazon and different places. I don't know if I can say that on here, if I can give away any of the places to get that. Ghost Stop has a lot of equipment. But before you go spending all that money, there's inexpensive things with flashlights, and start practicing in haunted locations, but with groups of people safely. Even find out if there are any ghost hunting teams you can tag along with, so that you can get educated from the experienced people, because then they can teach you how to protect yourself. They can teach you how to not bring things home with you. So definitely get an education and go on the ghost tours first, and then branch out from there.
I kind of think that, because you might some people might think that they want to do this, or
Right?
you know what I'm saying, but I know that it does, and I'm talking. See, the good thing about me asking these questions, and these ain't even the questions yet.
Oh,
We
man,
ain't even got
we
to
get
them
into
yet. This is just me bringing this stuff up in the air right now, and being that I'm not really into it, I watch it on TV, and I'm sure a lot of people do, and see it the way I do. Like, man, I wonder if it really gets like that, or I wonder, but I'm not saying I want to go out there and do it. I'm not saying
Right.
this is only for the person who thinks they do. I think it's a whole different project versus
Yeah.
watching it and getting out there. And
Very
is that the part that you can be playing with danger or fire?
100%. You can end up bringing something home with you. You can end up with an attachment to you. You can end up, like I say, I feel, and this is like not even a religious thing, I feel that we're all kind of beings of light. And if you start opening up the door, you don't know what can come in. So this is the analogy that I use, and maybe this will be helpful for people who are listening in. I always say, how often do you leave your front door open? So opening your front door, like using Ouija boards, using different types of methods to talk to spirits, a good person might come to your door and go, "Hi, how are you?" and bring you cookies. But another person might run in your front door and rob you blind and destroy your house. So definitely protect yourself. I always tell people that any type of thing to deal with the spirit world, get educated on it first, find your belief system and what works for you, and protect yourself, no matter what it is. It could be Santeria, it could be Catholicism, it could be Christianity, it could be Buddhism, anything that you feel close to your heart. Protect yourself with light, and to make sure something is not going to follow you, because without experience or protecting yourself, you can cause mental illness. You can start with being physically ill. You can have things happening in your home. Like you've seen the movie Poltergeist, for example, maybe not even to that level, but that kind of stuff can happen to people.
So like the movies are a little exaggerated, but the it's actually reality.
A lot,
just not to that level,
Right. It's not, like I said, I don't think I've ever seen a nun come through the wall like that. I'm terrible with scary movies because of that, because they're so exaggerated. But from a lot of paranormal teams I've talked to, they have experienced things that are just as scary, if not scarier, because they're real. So seeing something on TV, can scare you because it jumps out of the wall. But imagine if you're sitting here and something jumps out of the wall at you, it's a different experience. Some people don't recover from that. We've had, I'll give you a little hint, is we actually started off in the beginning, with people who came along, and a lot of things frightened them. And so much they did not come back. They were like, nope, and it was nothing too scary, but it was enough that they said, kind of like what you said, they thought they wanted to do it. And then you get into, there's dangers, there's risks, you can be scratched. I've been physically scratched in the beginning when I first started. And that was, I came home with scratches across my arm, my legs. I documented it. I had terrible things happen in my home, and I just wasn't protecting myself. So I went out and I sought spiritual guidance, and I started educating myself more, along with the SPI who comes with us and educates us as well.
Okay, and you said more, you had mentioned by doing your research and homework, and I guess that probably more or less would start with protecting yourself. Do your research and something like that first, or to see the reality, what to expect, then how to prepare, how to get yourself ready and protect yourself, and then I guess baby steps.
Baby steps. That is a great way to put it. You gotta crawl before you walk, and walk before you run. Yeah,
I did. So
there you go.
Yeah, that way, because I get people asking me a lot of crazy stuff. Because I go to some of these things, and I get into other groups, and I listen, and I talk, and I get in, and I hear a lot of different stuff, and that's what made me start wanting to do more of this.
Yeah,
and because I have an interest, but not that way.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Not done. We ain't gonna do all that now. I've already done my mission. I've done my military duty. I'm not. That ain't military. You can. I can fight back over there. You can't do nothing here.
Right.
Or I'm not gonna go there. But and then this was another one. This was one that just got here. Oh, I had actually put a little pose in it, and we're not even. The show ain't even there yet.
I know.
Right? But
bring them on.
I put this on before I came on to let people know you got one more chance and whatever. And my phone's just going ding, 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 ding. And
that's great.
Yeah. So this one is a little off to me, but hey, I'm not going to mention. They don't want it. That's anonymous.
That's perfectly fine.
Thank you. What is your definition of paranormal?
Paranormal, the definition is actually very simple. It's anything outside of normal. So para meaning outside, anything outside of the normal. So what we consider normal or the status quo, this would be anything outside of that. So paranormal is not just ghosts or entities. Paranormal could be Bigfoot. Paranormal could be feeling or sensing things. Paranormal is anything outside of the normal.
You know, that kind of like, when you say that, it's like why I came up with the name Explain Strange. Anything that's strange that we can try to explain here. So I mean, when you said Bigfoot, I'm like, wow.
See?
I never really thought of it that way.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
so
Cryptids, all these new things.
Need to get Bigfoot on the show.
But that's another reason I got into everything, is to, mine is a spiritual connection with spirits, but I didn't know anything about Bigfoot. I didn't know anything about, you see these television shows, and of course we were educated on them or read books as kids, but there are people out there still currently scientifically researching these things. So then of course I take an interest in that because I explore the paranormal, and it's fascinating because it's not just what we thought, oh, Bigfoot, sure, and then now you have someone that has, at the last Paracon in San Antonio, I met someone that was researching and had evidence and different things, and I was like, wow, I was just blown away.
That's strange. I mean, that's why I say some of these Comic-Cons, Paracons, or whatever, all these different ones, I mean, you'd be surprised who is actually there.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, I'm not pushing them or anything. I'm not,
Oh, I love all the cons, except for HorrorCon I haven't been to because I'm scared.
Oh.
I see enough scary things in real life. I will be brave enough one day to go to a HorrorCon, but I figured someone's going to try to scare me there. Something with clowns, like that's outside of what I do.
Yeah, I went to the Houston Horror Fest, and I got a video on that one on Slap Recon, and yeah, I've done that one. I've done I did Days of the Dead, and there's a lot. Yeah, if you don't like clowns, you gotta kind of be careful. I mean, there's some people that really. I was shocked to see people are really afraid of clowns. I thought that was a joke.
No, that's me. I'm right there. Like they freak me out. Like not to where I'm running, screaming, but it's disturbing because I don't know who is behind the makeup. So that's when it kind of branches into the part of paranormal that I'm like, that's a real person. They're wearing makeup and they're trying to scare me. So I'm backing away because I don't know what their intentions are.
Right.
So that's more of, I'm scared of the living more than I am the dead. The dead usually are pretty obvious with intentions.
It's more or less like, why are they that way?
Right.
Or dressed up, And one other thing that I had to ask was, explain SPI.
All right. So SPI is Spring Paranormal Investigations. They are a very large team out here in Spring, Texas, and they go out and they do the hardest of the hard cases. They are the real life Ghostbusters. We were so lucky to find them when we just started. We found them, we met with them, and I could tell at first they were kind of sizing us up and we were sizing them up, because in the paranormal world, you don't know who you're going to meet. You don't know who's legit, who's not. So we're both going, are they for real? We're both kind of saying that to each other, but not out loud. And finally, I sat down with Amy Lee, who is the leader, and she was just very open and honest with me about what she does, her morals, her standards, and she is in this to help people. That's what she does. That's why she started what she does. She helps people. And the girls from that group would be, we've got Michelle, we have, we've got Michelle, we've got Lynette, we've got, go through the group. Now, for the men, they have Raiden, Chris, Jason, Todd is one of their newest ones as well, and Josh, and that's their core group right now. And they're booking out 3 months in advance. So they go on demonic, very difficult, hard cases only. So if you just have, your chairs just kind of spinning around in your living room, that's not really what they're there for. They'll take your call, but they're really going to a family that's troubled and really needs them and needs that help. That's why they work with us, because on the show, they can showcase that they go out. And of course, it's not like their cases. Our show is for entertainment. We want to educate, entertain, but with their cases, it's the real deal, and it's usually residential. So
So we can call these guys more or less the troubleshooters.
Oh, yeah, big time troubleshooters. I mean, on levels that I have not dared get into yet because I am not trained and I'm not educated enough to get to that point. Like the paranormal is part of my life since I'm a medium, but I don't deal with exorcisms and demons and all these things that they are dealing with on a regular basis. It's go time for them.
Do they have a YouTube channel also?
No, but they're talking about starting one. They do have a Facebook page. They are Instagram, on TikTok as well. So they can also be found. And anytime on our Ghost Hunting Beauties page, we feature them a whole lot because we love for them to educate people.
Yeah, that's how I got that. That's the reason I asked that, because I did see that when I was doing my research with you guys, and I was like, mentioned in this other team, and I was kind of like, I wasn't sure if y'all were actually affiliated or were y'all just two teams that just kind of like call each other out,
but together, if that makes sense. So there's the beauties, which are the models, and then meets the professional paranormal team. So we all kind of merge together on the show because that's the whole premise of the show, is the professionals and the people who are curious and the people who are not professionals melding together, so that way you can see the adventure. Because if it was just us doing that without them, we're likely to go places where we're uneducated, or something come home with us, or things that experiences we don't want to have. So they keep us safe, keep themselves protected, and also we try to provide, value for them as well to come with us, because it's an adventure. So we've all kind of become like a little family. So I love it.
Are they based out of Spring, Texas, sir?
Spring, Texas. They're based out of Spring Paranormal Investigations, but more of the Montgomery area.
Okay, so on YouTube, how would I find them? I mean, under SPI?
Yeah, not yet.
No, I'm sorry, Facebook, my bad.
Oh, Facebook, Spring Paranormal Investigations, and you'll see that Amy Lee runs her page.
Okay, because that way everybody knows that's another lead to check out.
Yes, she's the boss lady. That's who you'll be talking to.
All right, well, that's pretty cool. I mean, I guess in this field that you get a chance to really meet some very interesting people. I mean, on both sides, on the other side and this side.
Yeah.
Is there anyone that you've ever met, or any entity that you've ever met that really stuck in the back of your head?
Oh, yes.
Come across.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
For sure. There was one that actually was in my home, and it's one that I don't think I've even talked about on my show yet. There was one that started coming through on the Ghost Box, because I used to host spirit sessions at my home. Being a medium, I actually used to bring people to my home if I know them and they come with references, that I would give them readings in my home. So I don't know if it traveled with someone or how he came to be in my house, but during a spirit session, all I could hear was, "Hi, my name is Stephen. Hi, I'm Stephen. Stephen here." And I'm like, "Okay, I get it. Your name's Stephen." And they kept going, "So let's get married." And I went, "Wait, what?" I was like, is this really happening? So my husband goes, "Did someone just ask you to marry them?" I was like, "Apparently there's a spirit here he's getting on your territory there, buddy." And he's like, "I'm not worried about him." And he goes, "Get rid of your husband." And I was like, "No, Stephen, we're not doing that." My husband goes, "Fat chance." Like, he thinks it's funny. And I'm creeped out because I'm going, is Stephen watching me? And it took a long time to work with him to help him to cross over to where he needs to go. He told me his story. I got to know him. He was a very young man that was in a car accident, very young, just by himself. He was going down a dirt road, flying as fast as he could, young, and I guess that hit a tree. I don't know, spun out of control. And when that happened, he passed very young. So he never had a chance to really date a lot or get married. So this spirit attached to me in my home somehow, some way. And eventually I told him, "Look, you're going to have to pass on. It's your time to cross over and find peace. Peace is not going to be here." And I was like, "I know it's fun for you." It's like, but it's time to cross over. So Stephen was one of my favorites because it was entertaining for all of us here when Stephen would pop in randomly and go, "It's me, Stephen, again." We're like, "Stephen, you need to go home."
Man, so he just like told you who he was and told you his whole life, that everything, that how it happened? And
it took a long time. It took months for him to open up. Just like spirits are people, they're just not inhabited into a body. So even when the body is left, you still have emotions and feelings. And with him, it was a person that he's getting to know me. So he didn't tell me anything at first except for, hi, suddenly I'm in love with you, or let's get married. I'm like, oh, I don't think so. I was like, I don't think that's going to work.
I don't know if I ever heard that in life from anybody in real life. How about some questions?
I'm ready. Bring them on.
Okay. All right. We're going to... there's one I think I'm going to wait on, because just to be on the safe side. This one's coming from Ruby Jane. All right, Ruby Jane. I think she's got 3 different ones. So we're going to go with one, and then we'll go on down the line. Okay, Ruby... I don't know that she's into this field. She's just a very true follower of the Slap Recon. Very nice. She even won some gift cards. So.
Oh, way to go, Ruby! Oh,
yeah, wow. She's even won some gift cards. Okay, number 1. Have you ever? Now, if these are any repeats, sure. Just excuse me, because I just wanted to make sure I get their questions in here anyway. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Question 1: have they ever had a ghost show up in a picture? I guess, has a ghost ever showed up in one of your pictures?
Yes. So we have had pictures of spiritual entities. It's one of those that usually I'll post it for people to look at to make sure, because I don't know if you're familiar with the term pareidolia. I think that's how it's pronounced. When you look at something and you go, oh, this could be this or this could be that. So we usually go through, and as if we're personally taking the picture, we like to take a series of 3. So we make sure, is this present in one picture or in all the pictures? If it's something present in all the pictures, it's probably a little bit less likely to be a spirit. If it's something that is in one picture but not the other 2 that were taken in sequence, then you have an anomaly. And that's how I usually name them, as anomaly. But I have seen multiple spirits. In Old Town Spring, there was a hanging tree. Now, the branch to where people were hung is taken down, out of respect for the people that were hung there, because it was not a very nice situation. It wasn't just criminals. It was a very hang-happy judge, as we say. He was not a good person. So the branch was taken down, but as I took a sequence of pictures, in one of the pictures, you can see where the branch used to be, and you can see a rope hanging down. And I saw a picture of, it's basically very faint, but it was not in the other pictures. It was, you could see the rope hanging someone. So it was disturbing, but it was one of the entities showing me how they had passed.
That's weird. That was in Spring.
Oh, yes. Old Town Spring. It has the most pictures I've probably ever seen at any haunted location. It's one of the most haunted locations, possibly in the world, but definitely in Texas.
Okay, I'm going to stop saying Spring and call it what it is, Old Town Spring.
There we go.
So, my bad.
That's fine.
Didn't mean no disrespect to anybody.
Oh, no.
Okay, question number 2. I'm trying not to read it the way she wrote it, because I know what she's meaning. I didn't catch it on the first one. We got it now. Do you have any voice recordings of spirits? And some that it might have been Stephen, I don't know, but some that stick with you.
Yes, so I have some voice recordings as well. I use several apps, and some of these apps are very controversial, but they are pulling in radio waves and pulling in any type of electrical energy, which is what we're all made up of. So spirits can communicate with them. So I do have recordings of spirits talking to me. And the way I know that it's legitimate is because they'll answer questions intelligently, and they will talk about what's happening around them. So I was at work one day and I hit the record button, and they called me by my nickname that I don't use. And I won't share it here because I don't want any ghosts to use it, but they probably already know. But
don't do that.
One that was here used my nickname, and I went, "Oh, so you know me?" And they said, "What you doing?" I said, I'm working. You see what I'm doing? I'm working. And they go, "Oh, haunted history. We love it." And I was like, well, I'm glad I've got the thumbs up from spirits that they like what I'm doing. And it's been more than one recording where they say they love what I'm doing because I'm telling their stories. So that's also been a really nice validation that I'm presenting something that even the spirits are comfortable with. So we've had recordings. They talk to me.
Well, let me ask you that. I'm just going to jump off for a second because that kind of makes me want to ask something. When do you think they only ask you because you're gifted,
No,
or would they ask me?
they would. They'll ask you. A lot of people that, if you're not tuned into it, you just don't hear it. But once you start learning to do that, I think they're trying to talk to many of us. And some people who already go, nope, I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. They close themselves off to that because most spirits are not here to mess up your day. They're just like average people going, I don't want to scare you. I don't want to bother you. But even people who are not gifted, they can speak to. I've had a lot of people who have never had a listed or known psychic ability and have still, after someone passes, has heard, like, let's say their father's passed, they'll hear their dad talk to them and say something, or they'll hear a song play on the radio when the radio was turned off. So they can present themselves to people without gifts.
That's kind of where I don't want to be.
All right.
Where I don't want to go on that. Okay, here's her question number 3, and you might have brought this one up.
Right.
Were you ever followed home by a ghost?
Yes.
After she's saying exploring, but
yes,
you get the idea.
Old Town Spring is the one I get followed from the most. Even though I put up a lot of protection, that's the one I get followed from the most. They've tried to mess with our car. They've tried to come back to my home. Like
how would they mess with your car?
Where it won't start. It's a perfectly beautiful vehicle. There's no issues with it prior, and then suddenly it doesn't start. And
Wow.
I've heard of that happening on investigations. They'll mess with your car. Anything that has electrical energy, they can mess with and manipulate. So we're sitting there going, this is not good. We've got to get home. And it finally, I tell them, you need to stop. And then the car starts again. But there was an entity that followed me from Old Town Spring that actually did frighten me at first. So I had a spiritual consultation with my friend Lady Leanna, and she is on TikTok as well. When she's her Mystic Insights, Lady Leanna, and she was the one who consulted me, and she was able to find out exactly who he was, why he followed me, and it's a very long story, but she was able to pinpoint everything down to the last detail. She's been a very, very good resource for me.
Wow, that's I didn't know they can mess with the car.
Oh yes,
And-
that's scary because I don't want my car messed with.
Yeah, and that's where I don't think I would want to go out there doing a lot of this stuff unless I actually had the team with me.
Right.
You know, I mean, I would have to have a team in there with me because I mean that's how we rode in the military. I mean, it was a group of us. We all had a specialty.
There we go.
But and then all right, well that was yours, Ruby Jane. I hope that she answered all your questions and I bona fide them. She did.
Very
all right. Melanie is Quartery. She is actually gifted, from
Very
what I
nice.
understand, from what I know from her. She's, I believe, this was out in New York, and I know her through. She started following me through some of the other people that I've met, you know, on the road or wherever from the other ghost hunting teams.
Very cool.
And I've never met her, believe it or not, but we correspond a lot. She's always getting into my Facebook, so she's
I love it.
yeah, she's a beautiful woman. She's always there for, you know. Okay, anything to repeat? It's just a repeat.
Sure.
What is your favorite piece of equipment?
As I mentioned earlier, the cat balls is my favorite piece of equipment. So how about I mention my second favorite, since we answered the first favorite? My second favorite would be the Boo Bears, because those are ones that are trigger objects that can draw in children. And that I kind of feel like I'm bringing them a gift and something to play with. So I really like the Boo Bears because they can be squeezed and hugged, and it makes me feel like that a spirit child can sit there and communicate with something that they feel comfortable with. So that's my second favorite.
Okay. I kind of got a little laugh when you said the Boo Bear, because I was like, no, I've heard of that one.
Right.
Big time, yeah. And then being that she wanted to know how many of y'all are gifted. And what would the gift be?
Oh, okay. So
Empath, medium,
right.
etc.
For the beauties, on the beauty side with the models, I'm the one that is a full-blown psychic medium. Been that way since I was very young. I use my skills and abilities on the ghost hunts that we go on. I use them in everyday life. So even outside of Ghost Hunting Beauties in the show, I use my mediumship to help people if I can. Like recently, they had the case with Audrey, and whenever she was a missing person and first declared that, I was one of the first people I knew exactly what happened to her. And it's very tough to be someone that's gifted, because how do you go call the police and go, oh, by the way, I see this, then, do they listen? It's not always very socially accepted out there. Although there are some mediums that I know that work for the FBI, so they do actually work on cases like this. But unfortunately, that was where me having my gifts, it's good in a sense, but also it can be disturbing and upsetting. For SPI, they have so many gifted people on their team. They have sensitives, they have mediums, and then Amy Lee is she's very intuitive, and she is, like I said, intuitive, and I'm trying to make sure I get all this right. Intuitive, and she also, she can sense things. So if that makes sense. So they all have kind of, since they've been around the paranormal a lot more and a lot increased activity, they all have some kind of special intuitions and things about them. They have, pretty gifted on their teams.
Well, that'd be kind of weird knowing something. I mean, I don't know. I guess you got to get used to having that ability.
Right.
Because like you say, knowing that something that happened and you have that thing that you might know what really did happen and nobody else knows, I'd be
right. And Lynette is the one that is the medium on their team as well. So a lot of times you'll see on our show that I was paired with Lynette, because when you put two mediums together, there's a lot of energy that you can draw in, and we can also use each other's abilities to verify information. So if I'm seeing something, she's seeing the same thing. So if I glance over and she's already looking in that area, I know that we're probably seeing the same thing.
Boy, I picked a good one here, didn't I? You're the one. I tell you, you're the one that has the answers, and that's both scary and great.
Oh, well, good.
Because it goes both ways. I mean, it's right. Because some people might, some people are afraid of all this. And
I don't blame them. I understand.
Yeah. There's some people that are, but then there's some people that hold that interest. They're so afraid that they can't let go.
Right.
I gotta get to the end of it. And okay, Melanie has a few more here. There's a couple of them. I'm just gonna. You answered the one about, have you ever seen an apparition? I believe that was a tree, right?
The spirit on the tree.
The spirit on the tree. And then, have you ever? Oh, yeah, you did say that one. Have you ever heard a disembodied voice?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And I don't know. Let's go with this one.
Sure.
How did you actually get into this field?
Okay. So, like I said, started when I was young. I wasn't in the field yet. So it started with my gifts being younger. It started with, honestly, I saw things like poltergeists, and I started understanding that there's certain gifts that people can have. And to me, the representation in the media was very scary. And then as I got older, my gifts started growing. I could tell you when someone's going to die. I could tell you, things were happening. I could tell you when something was about to happen. Spirits talk to me on a regular basis. And it was, like I said, it's not fun at first if you don't know how to tune things and how to deal with them. And there wasn't anything out there that showed mediums in a good light. So I was pretty scared. And it's not fun to know when somebody is going to die. Like, that's not fun. It's not exciting to go, oh, so-and-so is about to die. And then you sound like a very creepy kid coming down the hallway going, Mom, so-and-so is about to die. And then walk back and continue eating your bowl of cereal. That's not fun. So I stayed away from it for a while. A very good long while. I actually prayed, went to church and said, God, I don't want this gift anymore. Why would you give it to me? I don't like this. I had nightmares, and this was all the way up into my 20s, that I said, I'm just done with this. I can't take this anymore, especially when you see murders and when you see bodies and when you see terrible things, I started thinking I was just going crazy. Like, I went and had a brain scan thinking, do I have a brain tumor? This is strong. This is powerful. So I went to my spirit and said, okay, God, take this away. And it went almost radio silent for a while. So as I came up with the show, and when the interest started to build there, it's like the light switch went back on. And I went, oh no, this again. And I was like, well, I'm going to use it for good now. I know what I have. I know who I am. I was able to get educated because there's so many resources out there now about mediumship, about spirituality. I had so many people guide me. There's a gentleman that they call Blue that, he's works with Buddhists. He's a very spiritual healer, that he was able to educate me and fully get me to relax and calm down and go, it's okay to have this gift. It's not bad. Here's how you use it. Let me work with you. And after several sessions, it was like tuning in to that radio station. And so that's how I got back into it. And then I announced it on the show. So a lot of people had no idea that I've been a medium my whole life. Like some of my immediate family members, like my mother is gifted. She gets dreams and visions. She has spirits that try to contact her, but it's not like she's walking around hearing voices. She tells them, no, thank you. I don't want to hear anything. She's not one that wants to be haunted or deal with that, but she does. She's gifted. My grandmother on my father's side is also gifted. So I got the gift from both sides of the family. So it's very strong. And my daughter is exceptionally gifted, and she is just now learning to tune. She'll tell you it sounds sometimes muffled, and then she tunes it, and she absolutely gets very clear messages on things. And we do verify, so we're not just hearing voices and going, oh, that must be so and so. We do get verification. So that's kind of how I got into everything. And I started using my gifts for good. When spirits talk to me and they tell me things, if it's something pertinent, I will tell a person. I can share that without giving away any names. There was a spirit that came to me and told me to tell a person standing next to me something very, very specific. And I told them that. I said, this is going to sound crazy, but what does this mean to you? And I told them the very specific message that was given to me. And they almost passed out into my arms. And then I almost passed out because I'm like, oh, I guess this is right. And she goes, that's what I've been wanting to hear. It was someone that had recently passed away in their lives, trying to let them know they're okay and thanking them for all they did for them before they passed away. And so that's why I said that's how I kind of have continued on with my gift. And that's how I've gotten into this world here, is I figured the show can help people not feel alone. And for curious people like yourself, you can watch from a distance and not have to worry about it coming to your house. And for people who want to get into the world of the paranormal and explore, they can explore with us and learn.
Man, I know a little bit about this by a lot of people that I've met, like I told you before, but I mean, you're kind of really throwing some real information in here that I really didn't know, and I bet you a lot of people didn't, because you're kind of like really showing me, and I mean, I'm just the guy here just trying to do this podcast, but you're showing me a lot of things that, I mean, I really didn't know, and I'm sitting here writing notes around over here and then notes over here, and I'm like trying to stuff that I want to look that up. I'm like, man, Paradalian, I don't know what that is, or and I'm like, where's she talking about? But it would take one person that has a gift to ask another person with a gift to really get these questions blown.
I love
get this thing going, and she still ain't done. I mean, it's not done. It's not done.
If we tell her if we run out of time, she's welcome to send me any questions that she likes. I gladly answer anything for her.
You hear that, Melody? Okay, I'm going to give you two more of hers, and then we're going to get ready to wrap it up. So, Melanie, again, you'll have her contact information. I'm going to post all that. You're not going to have any problem. She'll be more than happy, I'm sure, to answer 100%. Anything you want to ask.
Absolutely.
What are your views on the afterlife?
My views on the afterlife, they can be complex and simplistic, so we'll lean more towards the simplistic. I believe that we're all made up of light and energy, and I believe that we return after our body is done, that we return back to that light and energy. And like I said, I am not very religious, but there are a lot of religions overlapping that all are close to my heart. There's, if I had to sum it up, I would say more of a Christian, Taoist, Buddhist type of belief. So I believe in reincarnation, but I also believe in Jesus Christ. I believe in all these things. So after we pass on, I believe that we go to a place with other enlightened beings, and everything is available to us. It's a happy world to where we can come back if we want, or we can stay over there. Because I honestly think that a lot of these spirits keep themselves here. We keep ourselves here. I don't believe, I think that purgatory is something we have created because we don't feel worthy of being back in the light. We don't feel worthy of being loved. A lot of people in their daily lives are so scared. They live with guilt. They live with pain. They live with trauma. And they think, surely I can't go back to that. I'm not worth it. But we truly are. Think about it. There's not an evil baby that's born. Think of yourself as a newborn. You can be born again and you can go into that light. Just get rid of the guilt, the pain, the anger. Forgive yourself, forgive others, and you can walk into that afterlife.
That's yeah. I mean, you again, you nailed it. I mean, you're not a person who's done their homework. You're the one that wrote the lesson. I mean,
oh well, thank you.
I mean, you're kind of like got me over here. You know, I'm thinking I'm watching this thing. You know, I'm
right.
like, hey, wake up! You're supposed to be doing this. Okay, let me get back to it. All right, the last one. This one's an interesting question she's got, and I think it is. Where's the place that y'all investigated that you loved the most?
Oh my goodness. That was, I think you sent me that one ahead of time, and that one's so tough to answer because I love them all. Like I said, Yorktown was the most recent and scariest one I've been on, but I think so far, and we've been to so many places, like Hotel Icon was so beautiful. It's got the 3-story penthouse in Houston. It's one of the only 3-story penthouses out there. But one that's close to my heart would be probably the old Lavaca County Jail. And that one is, I say it's special because it's kind of where I was terrified because I'm just getting into exploring the paranormal, and you hear and see all these ghost shows, and I'm thinking, oh, what happens if I get possessed? What happens if, you have all these fears, and the fear is what builds and builds and builds, and the fear is not actually real. I mean, fear stands for false expectations appearing real. So we have these false expectations that are just not even real. You have to go in with a full heart and go, I'm here to talk to you, know your purpose, protect yourself. But the Lavaca County Jail, the women who run this are just, so welcoming. You feel like their family. I've been back twice. They are very accommodating. They run ghost tours all the time. And they really were so welcoming to when we got our start. Thanks to them, we were able to get our start. We were so broke in the beginning because we spent all this money on cameras, equipment. Like I said, it gets so expensive making a show. I mean, we even had to get a special computer just to edit the show. So I'm like, I have no more money. And they're like, we will work with you. We know you're a good person. Come in. And they worked with us. And then, wow, I was so impressed by what we saw there. Just the first thing I see is a shadow figure walking past, and I'm going, oh God, oh God, oh God. So my reactions in the first season, I promise you, are very authentic, and I didn't even expect me to act like that because you get brave at first, and then you're like, oh, this is really happening. So it's a special place for me, the old Lavaca County Jail. Very special place. The women there, I encourage people to go. If you're looking for an investigation, go there. Yorktown was another one that was incredible people and super scary, but that one you need to work up to. That one's a heavy one. I say start with the Lavaca County Jail. It's heavy as well, but it's a good place after you've prepared yourself.
Yeah, now I've seen some those places you just mentioned that especially Yorktown, where I've seen them on Facebook and other people that go out there, and I've seen, if you go to YouTube, you can find some people that actually go to these places.
That's what got me interested. That's why I like YouTube, because then it gains my interest. So I'm hoping by sharing our story, we get more people interested too.
Yeah, and this is going to be on YouTube. This is also going to be on Spotify, and it'll also be on iHeart. So
awesome.
This should bounce around pretty much. And Well, I mean, I think that should do it for us. Melanie, thanks for those questions. Also,
Yes,
Ruby.
thank you, Melanie.
Thank you, Ruby, for your questions.
Thank you, Ruby.
Ricio, I didn't get to yours because I'm not understanding it, but you're that guy. You're just that guy. He's an army buddy, so just
very
just
cool.
So we
Tell him to
way.
send it my way as well. I love questions. We get people that send us stuff all the time.
There you go. If you want the answer to that question, try to rephrase it a little bit, and don't be so comical with me, because you know me. I'll say it the wrong way, so get it right. Anyway, everybody, that was the Ghost Hunting Beauties that are here. This is Angela Katz. She's the leader and founder and head honcho, and the one that really knows her business. I'm gonna tell you right now. If you watch this podcast and you saw it, you can tell she knows her business, and it was awesome talking to her. This was one of the. This is the greatest podcast that I've done, of course, because the other ones had just this ugly dude. But this time we got Beauty and the Beast. So,
and Beauty and the cool cat. We'll call you.
Yeah, the cool cat. And Hans. So how's that? So I appreciate you being with us, and thank you very much for doing this. I really appreciate you coming out here.
You are very welcome.
Spend some time with the slap, and I'll let you know. You'll know when this thing's gonna, So, all right, ma'am. Thank you. I'm gonna let you go, and we'll see you on the next one.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, that was the Angela from the Ghost Hunting Beauties. I was appreciative for her to come out or come on to the podcast. I learned a whole lot of stuff. I'm sure a lot of y'all did too. I mean, if you guys have any questions, there's going to be information right there that's going to show. I'm going to show you everything you need to know, how to get in touch with her team, and anytime any questions you have that you may have that you want to ask them, because it'll be out of my realm. But for me to step outside of my realm in a way, and that was interesting. That was very interesting. I mean, Angela knows. I mean, she knows. I mean, you can tell right there. You can tell right off anything on any deal, a mechanic or whatever. But if they know what they're talking about, or they're just talking. Well, with her, she knew, and that was an interesting podcast. Very interesting. But I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope you thought that it was enjoyable, and I hope a lot of you guys, the ones that had the questions, I hope that y'all enjoyed getting your questions answered, and I hope she answered them the best. I hope she gave you the answers that you were looking for, and I know that she did the best that she could. And again, if you have any other questions, and if you have any questions, if you just feel more comfortable sending them to me, feel free to send them my way. You can send them to Slap Recon. They'll get to her. I'll make sure she gets them. And that's going to do for this show. Also, keep in mind that there was going to be, I believe. Hold on. Okay, that was the Angela Katz from the Ghost Hunting Beauties. I thought that was a very interesting podcast. I don't know if you noticed this, but during the podcast, I was kind of astonished in ways where I had to stop, and I was really trying to absorb what she was saying, because I mean, I'm more or less the guy who watches the shows. I'm not so much the guy that goes out and does the ghost hunting, but I've seen some of the people that have the gifts on TV and other shows that I do watch and I do follow. But this was I thought I heard something. Sorry. This is the first time that I actually spoke with somebody, and I can't say in person because it wasn't in person, but it was personal. And this was the first time that I was ever able to speak with somebody this close, at this close range, that, had that information and was putting it in front of me that fast, So this kind of went pretty quick. I mean, I know it was all within an hour and 11, 12 minutes, I think it is, and I'm carrying it over just a little further. But I really hope you enjoyed that podcast, because that was informative. That was very informative. I mean, I have notes written down here, and that's what I was trying to do as I was listening, because I was more as if I was sitting in the audience trying to listen to a speech like this or to an interview like this. But I had to keep correcting myself, or telling myself that, hey, you're the one doing this. And then in between this, in case a lot of people who don't know anything much about podcasts, as I'm doing this, I'm actually producing this. So that means that I'm sitting here looking at the meters. I'm running the sound. I'm making sure that the sound level is correct on both of us. There was an issue with the headphones on my end, and if you listen to it, you will hear a little buzzing. But what that was my wire apparently wasn't working, or getting a little wore out. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. I think it's getting short. You could barely hear it, but it was in there. I could hear it. But hey, man, thank you again, Angela Katz. You really had me mesmerized. You really did. I'm not just saying that just to try to put some word out here. But again, I hope y'all enjoyed that. And leave in the comments for Explain Strange YouTube there. Let me know what y'all felt, or Explain Strange on Facebook. Tell me what y'all thought about that interview. Tell me what you thought about Angela. Tell me what you think about the Ghost Hunting Beauties. And I'll put this out there to you. Any of you, if y'all have a ghost hunting team and y'all go out and y'all do stuff, explore places and do ghost hunts and what on the weekends, or you're on the weekend or whatever, but don't worry at all. I mean, if you want to become on this podcast, you're more than welcome. If you are practicing witchcraft, that's okay too. I mean, I wouldn't mind you coming on this show and let's discuss it. It's Explained Strange. Strange not meaning a bad thing. It's meaning people that don't understand it. Maybe this is a way we can enlighten them on that. So if you're into anything like that, or anything similar, feel free to contact the Slap and on Explain Strange, and then the email's right there, and let us know, and I'll reach out to you, or you can leave a comment at the bottom of this YouTube episode, or you can go to the Facebook Explain Strange and just leave some kind of a comment or a message there, and I am, or whatever, and I'll reach out to you, and I will reach out to you. Just as long as you're legit and you're not somebody who's just trying to had a couple of drinks and just want to try to say something and try to see if you can get in on it. It doesn't work that way. Bona fide, I guess you want to say. But either way, thanks a lot for watching and listening in. It was a great episode. I loved it, and I hope you did too. There's not much that I can trim off of this thing. It just went. Y'all heard it. Y'all were here. It went right on. It just started and didn't stop. Thanks again. Explain Strange will be back with another episode, and it'll be episode 4. I can't tell you exactly what it's going to be, but thank you very much for watching, and I hope you guys follow the rules. Remember, follow the rules, man. That's the only way to win. You can't win nothing unless you follow the rules. You can never get ahead unless you follow the rules. And I know, because I never followed them. Anyway, that's going to be Explain Strange out. Thank you very much, and God bless. And you know what? Stay weird, stay strange, and explain it when you can.